Once upon a time in a distant village called Umuike, there lived a kind-hearted man named Chidi. Chidi had two wives. His first wife was Adaobi, and the second wife was Ebele. Adaobi was a very gentle and kind woman. She was loved by everyone. She had a beautiful daughter named Ngozi. 8 years have passed since she had Ngozi. Kids were no longer coming. She could no more have children, which saddened her deeply. Because of this, Chidi's family made trouble with Adaobi, urging Chidi to marry a second wife, which he bluntly refused. One day, Mama Chidi came to visit them in their house in Akwaka town, where Chidi and his wife lived. Adaobi was very happy to see her mother-in-law, since she had not seen her for a while. "Ah, Mama, you're welcome. Oh. How was your trip?" she happily asked her as she tried to take her luggage from her. "I will be fine when you give my son children. I want grandchildren, not a grandchild. What if anything happens to her? I'll be left with none. Please don't ask me if I'm fine. You know I'm not fine, and I won't be until you give me more grandchildren." After dropping her mother-in-law's luggage, she went straight to her room and cried. All through her stay in the house, Mama Chidi refused to talk to Adaobi or eat anything she prepared. Chidi's mother urged him to marry a second wife, hoping for more grandchildren. "Mama, I love my wife so much, and God has blessed us with a beautiful, intelligent, and hard-working daughter, and she's enough." "I now seen enough. What is enough? Enough for where? She's not though. We want more grandchildren. We want a full house. We know she's everything you've mentioned, and we love her, but we want more to be on a safer side." When the pressure became too much, Adaobi pleaded with her husband to get his second wife. Chidi refused, but when she kept begging, he had to listen to her. So Chidi married Ebele, who seemed nice at first but soon showed her true colors. Ebele was not kind like Adaobi. She had two daughters, Amaka and Ufoma, and two sons, Obina and Uche, for Chidi. Unlike Ngozi, Ebele's children were not kind and often behaved badly, just like their mother, who always caused a lot of trouble in the house. Sometimes Chidi would travel with his lovely wife Adaobi to a neighboring town to have a quiet time with his wife, just so they could rest from Ebele's troubles. One day, while returning from a friend's wedding at his hometown, Umuike, their car was involved in a ghastly accident. Both Chidi and Adaobi died. This saddened Ngozi's heart, as she was lonely and alone. Tears became her daily bread. One day, while she was crying, Ebele walked up to her and said, "See, you better stand up from here and do something useful with your life. Do you think your tears will bring them back? You better go and wash the dishes and prepare food for me and my children to eat." With Adaobi and Chidi gone, Ebele became very cruel to Ngozi. She made Ngozi do all the house chores and would not let her rest. And oftentimes, she would not give her food till evening. So she continued to suffer in the hands of her stepmother. She became a maid in her own father's house. Each time Mama Chidi came visiting, Ebele pretended as though she had been very nice to Ngozi, and she never allowed her to visit Mama Chidi, her grandmother. As Ngozi grew up, many young men came to ask for her hand in marriage, because she was not only beautiful but also had a good heart. But Ebele chased them away, saying all manner of awful things about her to scare them away, always saying her daughters were better suited for marriage. One day, while Ngozi went on an errand for her stepmother, she mistakenly kicked a stone and fell down. A poor-looking, handsome young man helped her up. His name was Emeka. Emeka was dressed in old clothes and looked very poor. They both exchanged pleasantries. He saw her off to where she was going, walked her to her house, and left. "I think I like her," he said to himself, smiling. "I will just make her my friend and watch her carefully." and I'll make some findings to know who she really is. Emeka was just a common bread seller that sells bread by the roadside. After making his findings, he concluded that he was going to marry her. Since her stepmother doesn't accept good-looking and wealthy men to marry her, then she will accept a poor bread seller like me. Perfect, he said. So he became a friend. Sometimes he will go visit her and vice versa. Ebele never complained about Emeka because she felt he was the kind of person she needed, a very poor man. So she was happy each time she saw the both of them together. One day, a man who had been talking to Ngozi about marriage came to ask for her hand in marriage. She was happy. He was a good man, and she was going to accept his proposal. But when Ebele realized that if she doesn't do something, the marriage might work out, she came up with an evil plan with her children. Ebele asked Ngozi to prepare food for her in-laws. When the food was ready, Ebele added a lot of salt and pepper to the food. When it was time to serve the food, Ngozi served the food. Immediately our visitors had a taste of it, they screamed and asked who prepared the food. And they all pointed at Ngozi. They all shouted at her, "Is this how you will kill our son with your bad food?" And they left angrily. Ngozi cried, "When will I ever get married? All my mates are getting married. Ebele's 2 daughters are married to men who came for my hand in marriage. When will I ever be free from this bondage?" She kept lamenting and crying. When Emeka heard about